All right, guys. So GridironSteady here. We got the Super Bowl is coming up tomorrow between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, aka Sheagles. It's just Sheagles. All right, but rematch, right? These two teams played in the Super Bowl a few years back, and Kansas City won. We predicted that on Sports Steady TV. So look, the I talked about in a previous video that I believe this is the last go around, at least for a while, for Patty Holmes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this is the last run. Not saying that he can't come back and have another run. He's still a fairly young quarterback, considering the lateness of greatness, and a pretty good organization that will provide him with pieces in the future. Right, we're pretty confident to say that. But I think with the emerging quarterbacks in the AFC, a very tough AFC is going to get even tougher in the next 3 to 4 years, will make it difficult for Patrick Mahomes to get back to the Super Bowl. Uh, and with that being said, this could be the last hurrah. Honestly, uh, this is not hating on the Kansas City Chiefs. This is not against the Chiefs. It's just the fact that the AFC is pretty damn good. So when I look at that and I say, okay, who's going to win this game? Now, the Philadelphia Eagles, they have an incentive to want to beat the Chiefs, right? I mean, despite the fact that it's the Super Bowl, right? So do you really need bulletin material to play in the Super Bowl? Probably not. If you do, I don't know what to tell you. That's kind of weird. But let's just play along with this whole bulletin material bullshit that they will say. The announcers will say it. They'll say, "Oh well, their incentive to beat the Chiefs after they lost them a few years back. We'll play it to the game because they're gonna do it anyway." So, will that be enough to get the Eagles excited enough to want to beat the Chiefs? I think it's gonna come down to brass taxes, folks. Like, who's better on the field, right? Who's the better team? Who's going to come out better that day? And while the Kansas City Chiefs are 1 point favorites in this game, they're 1 point favorites. And who knows if that line will change, or to me, it's a Super Bowl. It probably doesn't even matter what the spread is because it's the last game of the year. You got two of the teams, one come out the NFC, one come out the AFC. They clash for the chance to win the trophy. And what I would say is that the Eagles have every chance in the world to win this game, but there's one factor that we have to consider, and that's the zebras. Which zebras will show up in New Orleans? Will it be the ones in the red outfits? Because if they come in with red stripes, it's going to be a long day for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, they have the type of offense that could come out explosive. I think they understand that if they want to really win this game, they're going to have to take a double-digit lead at some point in the first quarter. If they go up 10-0, for example, or 14-0, they win the game. They might win. There's like a 99% chance they win the game because what the Chiefs have done all season long, right? They've been able to finish off close games. They're very confident that if a game is close, they will come out on top because they have. I mean, they won 15 games this year, and a lot of those games were close. So, what the Eagles need to do is stomp Kansas City early on and knock them out. Like, you can't mess around. If this halftime and it's like 7-3 and it's 3-3 game, Kansas City's got this game. Right? You need to go and, like, the Eagles need to stomp. Eagles need to do what Atlanta did to New England, except for the fourth quarter, of course. But they need to come out and stomp Kansas City in the throats. Like just stomp them out. Go up 21-0. Just like completely do not take your foot off the gas. That's what they need to do. Because a lot of times these teams will go up like 14-0, and then they'll just kind of lay back. There was a Super Bowl, I don't remember, I think it was a couple of years ago, where there was like a major blowout, right? The team just couldn't be stopped. They just, I forgot what Super Bowl that was. It was, I should know it, but, and it went the way that no one thought. It was like, holy shit, what the hell just happened? So, I'll try to see if I can find it. I know I should have already known this, but I think it was Denver. Was it Denver? Or Seattle? Let me see. Trying to remember. This is I'm having like a blank here. Yeah, 2014 Seattle over the Denver Donkeys, right? 43-8, and that game was crazy because we remember. Well, I don't remember. That's why I'm looking it up. But you guys might remember that I don't think anyone really thought that Seattle was going to just blow the doors off Denver like that. Right? That was a pretty solid Denver team. It was just, and Seattle just put their knees on their necks, on Denver's neck, and just absolutely destroyed the Denver Donkeys. I mean, it was just remarkable. And could Philadelphia do something similar to Kansas City? I don't know. Right? I don't know. But that's something that Philly would need to do, to be honest. They would need to do something like that. Because you don't want to have a close game. Trust me when I tell you. And I know there's a lot of talk about people talking, oh, the NFL's not rigged, or it is rigged, and then you got former players coming out now. There was a video of Terrell Owens talking about how the league was rigged. So you got former Hall of Fame talent, top tier players now saying it, that the league is rigged. And the NFL had to come out and dispute that. So I don't know if the NFL now feeling the pressure to fall back because of the attention of the rig being called by players in order to like, hey, okay, we might have given Kansas City that call, but let's not give it to them because we need to appear to be, non-biased. That could have been enough to sway the league office to say, okay, let's make sure Philly wins the game. But I'm just assuming that I don't think that would matter because if the referees made a call to help the Eagles, the same accusations would be levied regardless, right? So, with that being said, I think there's a theory here on why Kansas City has the edge with the league office. And make no mistake about it, Kansas City has been getting favoritism. It is not because really on the field, it's more so because of off the field and the agenda of the NFL, right? So the NFL goes into negotiations with TV networks. Say, hey, you want the Kansas City Chiefs? That's a prime ticket. You get Taylor Swift on the screen a couple times. That would draw eyeballs. How much is that worth to you? This is how much it's worth, right? We write it down. This is a negotiation. You take it or leave it. Networks are like, hey, we can get Taylor Swift on our screen. Whatever you feel about Taylor Swift, she brings a large audience, right? Regardless. And I think that's the theory going all the way around. Now, when it gets to the Super Bowl, obviously, I don't think it really matters because Super Bowl is already set in stone. But there is a how does the NFL feel about Philadelphia? Because if you could say if Kansas City does lose, that to me is a bigger sell point going into next year. Now, if they was to rig it, right? I'm just saying if they're rigging it against the Chiefs to try to make up for whatever the people out there are saying. That could be a selling point of can Kansas City bounce back? People will be watching to see can they come back. Regardless of Kansas City loses or wins, they already got their TV deals set in stone with Peacock and Amazon, all that stuff like that. And a lot of that is due to the Taylor Swift factor, believe it or not. Teams want to make sure they can get a glimpse of Taylor Swift. I mean, not teams, networks. They want to get Taylor Swift on their eyeballs on their screen. So that is already done. They already got that set. So there's really no more incentive for the NFL to try to rig it for the Chiefs. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I think this game will be played as straight up as possible. But I still think if the game is close, the Chiefs will obviously potentially can get the edge from a favorable call or two. But I don't think it's going to be as egregious as previous games or throughout the year. I think the game's going to be pretty straight up. But if Philly wants to win, they're going to have to take an early double-digit lead. They're going to have to blow the doors off the Chiefs, kind of like how Seattle did to Denver back in 2014. And then if that happens, then Philly will be the champs. If not, the Chiefs could win it. So, now I know that sounds like a cop-out. I didn't really pick a team, right? I'm like, I said I was going to pick a pick, and I'm kind of like, because I don't really know. Like, honestly, I don't know much about the Eagles. I haven't watched many of their games this year at all. So it's kind of hard for me to really give a one-way set on why I believe. I just think they could have a chance to win because looking at like Saquon Barkley, right? We know he had an MVP type season. Jalen Hurts is a young quarterback that can have a big game. A.J. Brown's a solid receiver. We know Kansas City's not great defensively, and they've been in a lot of close games. So that's kind of where I stop. That's as far as I know. And so the other factors I've had to factor in is if the referees are going to help the Chiefs, right? But I will say that if I had like gun to my head, had to pick a team to win, I would probably say it would be the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're going to, if it's close, they win. They probably get the edge. But I would not be shocked if they lost. Because I think it's just that close, to be honest. But if Philly goes up double digits, put it this way: if Philly scores, I'm gonna keep it as clear as possible here, okay? Clear as possible. If Philly scores a touchdown first, they're gonna win the Super Bowl. That's where I stand. Clear cut. They go up 7-0, they win the Super Bowl. But they definitely take a double-digit lead is over. But if they score first, it has to be a touchdown, not a field goal, 3-0. They go up first, they score a touchdown first, they win. That's how I look at it. That's what I'm sticking to. So that's what I got. But either way, this is the last go-around for Patty Holmes. This is it. At least another 3-4 years. So that's where I stand. Super Bowl picks right here, sponsored by nobody. GridironSteady, sports page run by sports fans. Peace.